I guess those punches Rocky took to the head were real after all. George Washington was the father of our country. Donald Trump is the father of Eric. Big difference there.
Late-night TV used to be about laughter, a place where audiences could unwind after a long day with a few harmless jokes and some celebrity interviews. But shows like Jimmy Kimmel Live shifted from jokes to political rants, disguised as comedy. And last night, Jimmy Kimmel gave us the perfect example of why this formula isn't working. The target of his so-called comedy? Sylvester Stallone. Yes, the same Stallone who gave us Rocky, a cinematic symbol of perseverance, and Rambo, a character who embodies grit and self-reliance. Stallone's political views didn't align with Kimmel's progressive agenda, and instead of keeping it professional, Kimmel turned the moment into a personal attack. Kimmel mocked Stallone's legacy during a live segment, crossing a line viewers couldn't overlook. It wasn't funny, it wasn't clever, it was petty and mean-spirited. And the backlash? Immediate. Fans of Stallone, people who grew up inspired by his underdog stories and his real-life resilience, were furious. Social media erupted with outrage, with hashtags like Cancel Kimmel and Respect Stallone trending for hours. Disrespecting Stallone is an end to your career, one tweet declared. And honestly, they might be right. Clips of the segment spread like wildfire, and viewers were quick to point out the mean-spirited tone. Many called it everything wrong with Hollywood today.
Remember the Academy Awards? I said how he's the worst host in the history of the Academy Awards. And this stupid guy goes up, and just before the Best Picture of the Year, the show is almost over. They're waiting for the Best Picture of the Year. He gets up and he says, and his wife said, please don't do it. His manager said, don't do it. I have to do it.
An industry more focused on pushing agendas than connecting with audiences. The irony here is glaring. Stallone represents the very values that made America fall in love with his characters: hard work, resilience, and respect. Meanwhile, Kimmel, a man whose career began with frat boy humor on The Man Show, decided to punch down from his cushy late-night throne. It wasn't a good look. Hey, remember to like the video if you're enjoying it. The backlash to Kimmel's jab wasn't just loud, it was deafening.
He's confusing me with one of his sons again. Wow, do you think he's flirting with me? What is this? When I die, I would like that to be the clip they play at the Emmys in memoriam montage. He even worked my wife in there. Should I be worried that Trump has mentioned my wife more times at his rallies this year than his own?
Social media lit up like a Christmas tree, but the outrage wasn't confined to Stallone's fan base. This moment hit a nerve with everyday viewers who are tired of Hollywood's condescending tone. Here's the thing. Stallone isn't just a movie star. He's a symbol of resilience. The man who wrote Rocky while broke, refusing to sell the script unless he starred in it, embodies the underdog spirit that Hollywood used to celebrate. And yet Jimmy Kimmel thought it was a good idea to mock this legacy, to drag a self-made icon over his personal beliefs. Viewers saw it for what it was. Another example of how disconnected late-night TV has become from its audience. It wasn't just an insult to Stallone, it was a slap in the face to anyone who still believes in respecting hard work and individual opinions. And Hollywood noticed. ABC, the network behind Jimmy Kimmel Live, quickly realized they had a PR disaster on their hands. Ratings for Kimmel's already struggling show took a nosedive, and ABC executives reportedly scrambled to do damage control. In an almost laughable attempt to make things right, they reached out to Stallone with an apology and an offer of creative freedom if he agreed to appear on the show. Stallone's response? A polite but firm no thanks. To him, the apology felt more like a desperate attempt to save face than a genuine effort to make amends. Meanwhile, Stallone's fans stood by his decision, calling the network's efforts too little, too late. It wasn't just about the insult anymore. It was about the broader culture of disrespect and virtue signaling that late-night TV has come to represent. Here's the bigger issue. This wasn't just a bad moment for Kimmel. It highlighted a deeper problem in Hollywood.
George Washington was the father of our country. Donald Trump is the father of Eric. Big difference there.
Late-night shows have morphed into echo chambers, more focused on scoring political points than entertaining viewers. Once a cultural staple, these programs now alienate anyone who doesn't subscribe to their narrow worldview. And Kimmel, he's become the poster child for this shift. Someone who's swapped humor for moral grandstanding only to see his audience tune out in droves. While Kimmel faced the fallout, Stallone did what he's always done: rise above the noise. Unlike late-night hosts clinging to outdated formulas, Stallone has embraced a new era of media, one that values authenticity over scripted sound bites. Instead of stooping to Kimmel's level, Stallone took his story to platforms where he could speak freely, unfiltered by Hollywood gatekeepers. Shows like The Joe Rogan Experience and The Greg Gutfeld Show became his go-to venues. These platforms, which prioritize open dialogue over canned narratives, are thriving precisely because they don't pander to outdated Hollywood norms. And the numbers don't lie. Joe Rogan's podcast regularly outpaces traditional television in viewership, proving that audiences are hungry for something real. Greg Gutfeld, once a niche comedian, now pulls higher ratings than any of the late-night network hosts. Stallone's appearances on these platforms have been met with overwhelming support, with fans praising him for staying grounded and refusing to play by Hollywood's rules. This shift isn't just a career move for Stallone, it's a statement. He's proving that the days of Hollywood's dominance over cultural narratives are over. In an age where podcasts and digital platforms dominate, stars no longer need to bow to the whims of traditional media. And Stallone isn't alone. Other actors like Zachary Levi and James Woods have also stepped away from Hollywood's political posturing. Levi has openly criticized the industry for stifling creativity, while Woods has walked away entirely, refusing to conform to a system that prioritizes politics over storytelling. For Stallone, this move aligns perfectly with his brand. He's always been the underdog, the fighter who doesn't back down. By embracing platforms that champion authenticity, he's not just surviving, he's thriving. Meanwhile, Kimmel's ratings are tanking, showing that Hollywood's old model is failing. Audiences don't want preachy monologues or divisive commentary. They want entertainment. And Stallone, with his unpolished honesty and timeless grit, is delivering exactly that. Slightly off topic, please subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Jimmy Kimmel's feud with Sylvester Stallone is a symptom of a much bigger problem: the collapse of late-night television as we once knew it. There was a time when late-night shows were cultural staples, uniting audiences with humor that everyone could enjoy. Johnny Carson, Jay Leno, and even early David Letterman delivered laughs without alienating half the country. But somewhere along the way, late-night TV lost the plot. Hosts like Kimmel focus more on speeches than jokes, pushing agendas instead of fun. Kimmel's jab at Stallone epitomizes this shift, an unfunny, mean-spirited attack that left audiences cringing instead of laughing. And the consequences are clear. Ratings for late-night shows are in freefall. Even competitors like Jimmy Fallon, who tries to avoid divisive topics, struggle to maintain an audience. Younger viewers have abandoned traditional TV altogether, opting for platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and podcasts. Why sit through a preachy monologue when you can get raw, unfiltered content online? Kimmel's misstep was a stark reminder of how out of touch late-night TV has become. Audiences just want to relax and laugh, but they get lectures instead. Instead, they're met with divisive commentary that feels more like a chore than entertainment. Even Hollywood insiders are starting to notice. ABC, which owns Jimmy Kimmel Live, is reportedly rethinking the future of the show as contracts approach expiration in 2026. Rumors suggest the network is already searching for a younger, less polarizing host. But let's be honest, will it even matter? The format itself feels outdated, a relic of a time when people still gathered around their TVs at 11:30 p.m. And while Kimmel's star fades, Stallone's continues to shine. By aligning himself with platforms prioritizing authenticity, he's proving that Hollywood's gatekeepers no longer hold the power they once did. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Kimmel is clinging to a dying model, while Stallone is thriving in a media landscape that rewards respect and realness. It's a lesson that late-night TV seems unwilling or unable to learn. Sylvester Stallone's response to Kimmel's jab wasn't just a personal victory, it was a blueprint for navigating Hollywood's shifting landscape. While traditional stars cling to the outdated playbooks of late-night talk shows and award ceremonies, Stallone is paving a new path that feels more aligned with what audiences actually want. Here's the difference. Kimmel represents the old guard of entertainment, produced, predictable, and pandering. Stallone, on the other hand, thrives on authenticity. He's not interested in sanitized sound bites or carefully scripted appearances. He's showing up on platforms where he can speak freely without a producer whispering in his ear or a teleprompter shaping his words. These platforms are redefining what it means to connect with an audience. Rogan's podcast, for example, routinely dominates digital media, with millions of listeners tuning in for unfiltered conversations. Meanwhile, Gutfeld's irreverent comedy show has overtaken traditional late-night programs in ratings, proving that humor doesn't have to come with a lecture. For Stallone, this isn't just about avoiding Hollywood's politics. It's about embracing a media ecosystem that values individuality over conformity. In doing so, he's reminding fans why they loved him in the first place. This move answers what audiences have wanted for years: honesty. Viewers are done with stars who act like fame equals authority. They want real conversations, raw humor, and stories that resonate on a human level, not another round of moral grandstanding. The numbers don't lie. Digital platforms like YouTube, Spotify, and independent podcasts are eating into Hollywood's market share. The younger generation in particular has no interest in late-night TV or the prepackaged narratives pushed by traditional media. Stallone's pivot to these platforms isn't just savvy, it's symbolic. He's proving that Hollywood's gatekeepers no longer hold all the cards. The real power lies with the audience, and they're choosing authenticity over everything else. Meanwhile, Kimmel is learning this lesson the hard way. As his ratings plummet and his relevance fades, it's clear that his brand of condescension and predictability is no match for modern media's raw, unscripted energy. Here's the reality. Hollywood is no longer the cultural monolith it once was. Late-night TV, once a unifying force in entertainment, has become a relic of a bygone era. Shows like Jimmy Kimmel Live have traded in their universal appeal for divisive commentary. Stallone's rise in this new media landscape proves the tide is turning. Audiences are tired of being lectured to by celebrities who seem more interested in virtue signaling than entertaining. They're looking for authentic conversations that don't feel filtered through a dozen layers of corporate PR. Hollywood's old formula no longer works, and star power alone can't hold attention. Stallone's ability to adapt to this new reality is a lesson for everyone in the industry. By doing so, he's shown that success in today's entertainment world isn't about conforming to Hollywood's expectations. It's about connecting with audiences on a human level. And what about Kimmel? His decline is a sobering example for everyone. Late-night hosts like him have lost touch with their audiences, which shows in their plummeting ratings. The constant moral grandstanding and mean-spirited humor may generate headlines, but it doesn't win loyalty. Kimmel's fading ratings raise doubts about the future of late-night TV altogether. The lesson here is simple: evolve or become irrelevant. Hollywood needs to stop treating its audience like a captive market and start listening to what people want. Entertainment doesn't have to be a lecture or a political statement. It can be fun. As Stallone continues to thrive, his success sends a clear message to the industry. Authenticity wins. And Kimmel? Well, let's just say he might want to start taking notes.